Welcome to that 80s show. Don't Dori be happy. Don't Dori be dappy? Maybe.
Don't Paulo be silly?
Well.
I mean, that's actually a contradiction. You're always silly.
No, Dori, I try to be a very serious person.
Very serious, grown-up individual.
Try to sometimes dress like an adult even.
I've never seen you dress like an adult.
It's a thing though, because I mean, we work in quite an informal environment. South Africa's always warm. You're not expected to wear woolen clothing.
Or a suit.
Suit?
I mean, some people are expected to wear a suit.
Oh, disgusting. Who are these people?
Awful.
You wear a suit 3 times in your life. Your wedding day. Your wedding days.
Okay, so maybe more than once for that.
When your divorce date.
Right.
And your funeral.
Your funeral? Well, it depends what kind of funeral you're having. But maybe other people's funerals?
I've not got into the semantics of this. But when someone gets cremated, you put them in a suit, right?
I don't know.
It seems like a big waste. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
You know,
those are Bowie lyrics, aren't they?
They are, as well. But you know what I'm thinking of? Remember, and I think it was mostly an 80s thing because I don't really see it much these days, where the short sleeve button-up shirt with a tie.
You see it. Yeah, you can sometimes see it in retail stores, but that it was a very 80s thing.
Yes, hey? And because we do live in a hot place. So I know it's not considered smart enough to have the short sleeve, but you've got the button-up collar and the tie.
Yeah, but that's so business casual. That's
Is it like second-hand car salesman looks?
Very much
That's
so.
what it is.
I would not trust you if that's your look.
Well, I mean, you'd have to have a moustache with it. And you'd have to have brown on the tie.
See
and
what I'm
possibly
saying?
on the shirt as well.
Now you've gone to a person I just don't ever want to engage with. Right?
I don't know.
I mean, that is the...
familiar about it.
It's a clothing mullet, isn't it? Because it's... So if you're wearing it with a jacket, business in the front, party on the sides.
Yeah.
Welcome to that 80 show. It feels an age since we recorded, but I think you've been getting episodes in your feed.
I hope.
Yes. But great news, Dori.
Yes.
I found this out yesterday.
Yes.
So listen, we already know we're an award-winning podcast, but you know that we're in the top 4 80s related podcasts in the whole world.
In the whole world?
In the whole world.
But how many are there?
This was a list of the 70. It bothered me.
Okay.
Because it should have been the 80 best 80s podcast. But it was a list of the 70 best 80s podcasts in the world for us.
Hang on, who wrote this?
I don't care. Me.
No, I'm asking. No, if you'd written it, we'd have been number 1.
No, it's like a legit thing.
Really?
There's podcasts, there's charts. There's like podcast chart things.
We should ask the chart savant maybe about it.
Yeah. But if he's not in the charts, he gets upset. Could upset him. Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Okay.
Chart savant, he has to be in the charts. You were somewhere with the chart savant.
Now,
we were very meta because we last promoted this before you went, but when you as a listener had heard this, Dori had what it is.
Out of time travel. We were in the DeLorean, then we were out of the DeLorean.
It's like if you watch Back to the Future 2, 3, and 1.
Ooh,
right?
Why are you watching 3?
Because this is what I'm trying to say, just to discombobulate you,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Because it could work. Okay. That's what I feel like we are. But anyway, what it is, if we're saying don't Dori be happy, Paulo has FOMO MD.
Yeah. And rightly so.
I missed the OMD concert. For valid reasons, my daughter was dancing in a showcase, spectacular show. Yes. I got a show.
Right.
I did not get
Did
OMD.
she win?
It was like a showcase for a whole academy.
Oh, it wasn't like a competition.
It wasn't a competition.
Okay.
She wins the competitions.
Right,
We only piss excellence in my household.
I know. That's why I asked.
Right? So...
You don't mess around.
No, I don't. But I miss around and I missed OMD. So, Dori, you were there with the celeb savant.
I was.
He got you front row. Did he get you front row?
Well, I mean, it was all, open standing, but I got there early enough. I got there before Avoid came on.
Oh.
And there was a break between the bands, and people take the opportunity of the break to go and buy drinks and stuff. So there was a very large open, you would know.
That's normally
But then they
me.
get back in time for the band to start usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, or they don't assume that the band's going to start with their biggest song.
Hit. Right,
you know,
absolutely.
They got that 5 minutes gap, right?
Right.
Biggest song. How are you? Waka, we love performing in, checks notes, Johannesburg, right? So you think you've got that.
Yeah, you think.
You think,
you're
okay.
Wrong.
Anyway, but you're wrong.
Sometimes you're wrong.
Especially
So there was a large space by the front of the stage. And I wasn't planning on being near the front because I'm like, oh, I'm old. I don't want to have to stand the whole time. But then I thought, this is OMD. Everyone's old.
That is a very true story. I looked at some of the photos on the socials.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, it was a lot of gray hair.
No, there was. But funnily enough, well, anyway, so long story short, I did go to the front and I stayed at the front. And funnily enough, there was a girl next to me who looked so young. She looked like a teenager.
Okay. And
at some point, when there was a break between bands, I actually said to her, I'm so sorry. I have to ask, what the hell are you doing? You look way too young to be here. And she actually laughed and she said, I have really, really good parents who have instilled in me very, very good music taste. And I love 80s music.
I feel that's like you and I and our kids.
Well,
right?
I think I feel like I failed compared to this girl's parents because
I feel that's my daughter.
She was singing
my daughter
along.
loves 80s music, so
no,
I feel
my kid loves some, but not like. I mean, this girl was singing along to OMD. First of all, she wasn't a teenager; she was 24. She just looked very young, but still 24, having the time of her life.
Dori, just to put that in context, what were you doing in the year 2000?
In the year 2000, oh my goodness. Got to think.
Definitely out of school.
Time out of school. I was working.
Right.
In the year 2000, I had the worst jobs. It was before I got a decent job in radio.
Okay.
I had horrible jobs. Yeah.
You know what job she had?
She was a spermazota.
Between that, yes. She was in the bikini region of her mom.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
So very young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very young.
Yeah.
No, I was working. I was an adult in the working world.
Good.
I was not yet married, but in the relationship with the person who I ended up marrying. So, yeah, I was a proper grown-up, working horrible jobs, though.
Right. So that girl was still disgustingly young, but we approve.
She was.
Okay,
and
good
she was
parenting.
young compared to like all the other
Good
people in the
parenting,
audience.
right.
No, very good parenting. And she had a blast. And so I got there in time. Evoid played first. They were one of the... I missed all the other support acts. I'll be honest, I didn't care. I wanted to see Evoid and I wanted to see OMD. Evoid were amazing. Again, not spring chickens, but my God, did they have energy.
They know how to perform.
Wow.
They know.
So much dancing. So much energy. As if they were teenagers.
I wouldn't put OMD as an energetic band, though.
Well, Paulo, are you wrong?
Really?
You are so wrong. I have never seen someone dance, and he danced. He had these really weird dance moves.
Old man dance moves.
No, but
Weekend
they were
at Bernie dance moves.
He kept doing this. He kept acting like he was chopping his arm off.
Yes.
And Barrett, our celeb savant friend, kept looking at me and like laughing and mimicking him. And then the people around us were laughing at Barrett, mimicking him. It was very funny. But he danced so much. And at one point, he was very, very funny. And at one point, he said, thank goodness I'm only 64. If I was 65, I wouldn't be able to dance around this much.
Joke. Good joke.
No, he was very funny.
Good acknowledgement of what his situation is.
I mean, he made so many good jokes. At one point, they played like one of their songs from, I think, 1980 or 81, one of their very early songs. And then he said... we've got a much newer song for you now. It's from 1989. So he had a really good self-deprecating sense of humor. The song, I mean, it was incredible. I have to say, amazing lighting. Just the whole show was impressive. The sound was amazing. His voice has not changed. He sounds exactly like he sounded in the 80s.
Tell me about...
He looks older. Let's be honest. Don't we all?
No, we all, though.
He looks older.
Don't we... tell me about Evoid.
Evoid was so great.
Now, if we got a lot of international listeners, you may go, who are Evoid?
I don't know, though, because they did make a splash.
They did. So especially in the UK. In the USA, you may not know Evoid. Do yourself a favor. After you've done this podcast, go look for Evoid, Evoid, a band out of South Africa from the 80s. Looking back at it, don't look at the clothes they were wearing because you might go, it's a little bit of cultural appropriation.
Well, they were wearing them at the gig.
Oh, were they wearing them?
Yeah, so they like screw cultural appropriation.
But you interviewed
I interviewed Lucien, yes.
Lucien, and he spoke about it, why they would wear the African beads and things like that.
Like,
yeah. They don't make a big thing of it.
I mean, at one point, Eric took his shirt off completely and he was wearing like a kind of a vesty jackety. I can't think what it's called.
Short sleeve, smart shirt with a tie.
Thing that would go over a shirt.
Okay. Oh, right.
Waistcoat.
Waistcoat.
Yo, the brain.
Words are handy sometimes.
Yeah. So, but I mean, he looks really good for his age.
So Evoid did two fantastic, real big breakout, Taxi Man and Shadows. I think Shadows did chart overseas.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, they had a few like semi minor hits compared to that as well.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize every single song they did, but I did recognize most of them.
They had Shadows, they had Taxi Man.
I think it's called Quella Walking or something like that. Was very familiar.
And there was one I heard recently that I was like, oh my word, I don't think I've heard that song since late 80s.
They also do an amazing cover of, oh my God, it's going to slip my mind now.
Slip my mind now. What a fantastic song. Originally by Depeche Mode.
Psycho Killer.
Really?
Killer, Talking Heads, they do a fantastic cover of it.
Really?
Yeah, not an 80s song, but sounds like an 80s song.
I can hear that. So Evoid, great. You know what the thing about Evoid is, like, every time they perform, you go, oh, Evoid reunion. But they perform so much now together that you're basically like, you guys are pretty much.
They've been performing a lot the last few years.
Because some of the members live here, some still live in the UK. And whenever.
No, I think, the brothers both live in the UK.
Yeah.
And then what they do is they perform with local artists. So they actually were performing with Josh, who used to be in a band called The Streaks in the 90s. And he now performs with Golani from Freshly Ground.
Yes, yeah.
And they were performing with, again, I've forgotten his name, but the guy who was the drummer for Bright Blue, also performing with Freshly Ground.
Okay.
So
still out there.
So they were performing with some local guys.
So is my FOMO MD.
Oh, dude. I am so glad I went because I'm
glad
wasn't 100% going to go.
Really?
Yeah. I was asked to work that day.
Wow.
And I said no.
No, good.
Boy, am I glad I said no.
Yeah, because then you'd have FOMO MD.
I would have we would have had FOMO MD squared.
Yeah, and then we'd just be sitting here talking about how much we had FOMO MD squared.
Instead, I can make you jealous.
Yeah, you can make
I've still got video clips you don't even want me to show you.
It's fine. Look, I have booked my tickets for Thomas Anders.
Yes, I do not have a ticket for that yet. I'm hoping the Celeb Savant's going to come through for me for that.
You know what's going to be tricky with that? Yeah. That's out in Pretoria and it's a 6 o'clock start.
I know.
And then
But isn't it a Saturday?
It's a Saturday, but...
Is your daughter going to be dancing again?
Yeah, and no, she's free. The conundrum I have is that, like, we don't want to be driving back because the venue is probably about 45 minutes out from where we live, on a highway on a Saturday night, miscreants around, so we tend to like always look to stay, but then
isn't there a hotel right there?
And nice apartments.
Right.
So I got that. Another thing I want to ask you, kind of like off-piste. So promoted, Roxette announced Roxette are coming to South Africa.
I know.
And I'm like, wait, hold on a second.
We know that we kill people off a lot on the show unnecessarily and incorrectly.
Yeah.
But we're very sure that Roxette, at least half of the band, is unfortunately no longer with us.
So I went to look into it. So, of course, Marie passed away very tragically from cancer 2016.
Somewhere, yeah.
2016. Yeah. Per, his name is Per.
Per. I think Per.
He continues with the Roxette band.
Yes.
And he's now got another singer. So he worked with her in the 80s. She's quite a big pop star in Sweden.
Okay.
Like a heritage 80s pop star.
Does she look and sound like Marie?
She doesn't look, not at all. And she doesn't sound like her, right? So, but it's this weird conversation. So let's have the conversation.
Yeah, let's do it.
I feel people need to speak truths here. So there are people, and even people who like Roxette music, right? We're anoraks. We're a different kind of thing. There are people that just like Roxette music that think Marie, her name's Roxette.
Yes.
Right? They don't realize this is a duo.
Yeah.
They think her name is Roxette.
Yeah.
Like Jason K is Jamiroquai. That's think that Jamiroquai, if you don't know.
JK.
Some people, JK.
Yeah.
I call him Jason.
Okay.
I feel it's more respectful.
Right.
Right? Because some people think, oh, that guy Jamiroquai. No, Jamiroquai is the band.
Right.
Right? So, but the thing with Roxette is she sang all the songs other than him going, you got the look. That's not.
He did sing some extra bits.
He
but
wrote
she was the main singer,
it.
Absolutely.
He did all the music. He was, because then we talk about Thomas Anders, right?
Yes.
So Thomas Anders is here. Thomas Anders and the Modern Talking Band.
Right.
Because of course, him and, we
won't talk about that.
We're definitely Team Thomas on that one.
Yes.
Right? So that's that's fine because he was the main singer. He was
Yeah.
the face. So you be it. The thing with Roxette is Marie was Roxette.
But as our friend, the celeb savant, pointed out, there are going to be people who don't even know that Marie passed on. And they are going to assume that it's her. They're going to go, wow, she looks different and sounds different.
Dyes her hair.
Yeah.
You know,
They're not even going to realize.
my wife made a great point. She goes, yeah, but you know, because we went to the 90s concert
Yes.
early in the year, she goes, none of those people were singing. they were all lips. So she says, what makes a difference?
Oh my God. No, but they wouldn't lip sync. That would be weird.
No, but would, if she does not sound like Marie, but she sounds enough like, and you just go, well, no, that's what you want to be. She got the look.
You know, I'm not
That's
a
what you
fan of
wanna do.
Roxette, so either way, I'm not going to be there. And I could not actually imagine anything worse than almost Roxette.
Listen, you know what I'm going to tell you? If you're going to the Roxette concert, you're excited about this, God bless you, because there are going to be a lot of, I'm going to be disrespectful here, a lot of mutton dressed up as lamb, as they colloquially say, with bad bottle jobs. Bad bottle bleach jobs. That's what's going to happen. So anyway, that's a conversation. We've got to have the conversations.
Yeah.
In talking about this, then I came on to, you know, the band Live. They were quite
Yes.
big in the 90s. So they're still touring, okay?
Yeah.
But now Ed Kowalczyk, I think it's said like that, he's still the main guy, but he's like way into his 50s. The rest of the band, I don't even think some of them were born when Live was first popular because he
Yeah.
keeps replacing the band.
Yeah.
Which, like, it's fine. Bon Jovi does the same,
Well, I mean,
you know.
who remembers anyone else from Bon Jovi? Maybe Richie.
You
gonna
definitely
think
remember
Richie,
Richie. And,
But do you remember Richie because of the band or because of other things that he did?
well, listen, I watched the Bon Jovi
Yes, I haven't
documentary,
watched it.
which
Yeah.
I will be talking about in next week's episode.
Okay.
Okay? But not in the way that you think.
All right.
Okay. So, Airbnb. So I said, right, earlier when we go watch Thomas Anders, I might Airbnb a place.
Yeah.
Airbnb are doing this thing. They do this thing every now and again where they go and they create these, like, this one is particularly called the Icon series, right?
Nice.
So they go and create these, like, Airbnbs around iconic landmarks, themes. The one they got is the Up House. You know the house?
Oh, from the movie.
the movie Up,
Oh, cool.
right? You can stay in the Up House, right?
Okay.
There are lots of
Are there balloons on it?
it's got balloons on it.
Oh my God.
Okay. The X-Men Academy, maybe you don't know that,
No,
but
I watched the early movies.
you can stay, the cartoon one.
Okay.
You can stay in that because X-Men 97, whatever, Disney Plus, big thing. You can stay in that. But I went to go find some 80s ones
Nice.
for us, okay? This is what I do.
Of course.
So I just want to flip the computer around. Dori, you can stay in a Blockbuster, okay? Just go, they've recreated a Blockbuster that you can stay in for your 80s and 90s nostalgia.
And it's full of blockbuster movies for you to watch on the VCR.
Like, tell me, does it look like you can actually take those videos off the shelf and watch them?
Oh, you can't?
I
Is
mean,
it all like stuck with glue?
come on. That's. I would definitely stay in a Blockbuster if I could watch all the video cassettes in there. Right? Does it look
Oh my God, look at that duvet cover.
I mean,
look
so it's got a bed
at
in the
that duvet.
Blockbuster. We'll put
That
this.
duvet cover is straight out of Ruthless People.
We'll put all of this on that 80 Show SA Facebook page. The Airbnb yourself
It's so cool.
at Blockbuster, right? So, and
I
it's
like
fantastic. It looks
a
like
bit brightly coloured
oh,
and like
fantastically
bright
brightly
lights,
covered.
but
Lots of snacks. All the snacks are there for you.
I could get it behind that idea.
You could also stay if you want at the money laundering house.
Okay, is money laundering an 80s thing?
Money laundering's a Home Alone thing.
Okay.
Because you know the whole thing about Home Alone is like, what the hell did Kevin's father do that he stayed in this monstrous mansion and took a family of like 15 people to Europe? They never discussed the father's job, right? But you can stay alone or with friends and family at the Home Alone house.
Hang on. So was this a real house that it was
It
filmed
was-
in?
it was a real
wasn't
house.
a set.
No, it was a real house.
Okay.
So
So is that house like a museum? Well, it's obviously
basically, yeah.
not someone's home. It's,
So Airbnb are like, okay, stay at the house. They've recreated it like, so there were two houses, right?
yeah,
I believe there was one house for the exteriors, and then I think the interiors was a set.
yeah.
So that's the house they used for the exterior that Airbnb have
Look
said
at that bedroom.
they've recreated.
That's totally the
you
bedroom.
can Home Alone it, and for extra,
There's all Christmas decorations everywhere.
You can hire some thieves to break into your home.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I don't know if you can do that,
No,
but
but that's
great.
kind of funny.
I definitely do that.
I'm just looking at the rest of these pictures. This is very cool.
I mean,
I'm not the biggest Homeland fan, but I like it. I like it.
You could jump on the bed.
Yeah.
You could go do a shave and do that.
And do that.
You could,
Yeah.
There's the bathroom. There's the bathroom that you can recreate that moment.
Yeah.
There's the window where you can sit there, say you filthy animals and
put like weird silhouette things in it.
You can do all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Very sad if you do. But here's one I'm not sure about.
Oh dear.
Here is not one I'm not sure about. The hosts are Wendy and Lisa.
Okay. Like the Wendy and Lisa?
Is there members of the revolution? Hosted by Wendy and Lisa, members of the... Who are Wendy and Lisa?
Wendy and Lisa from Prince's band?
Okay, well then Dori, because the other house is Prince's Purple House. So then it's hosted by Wendy and Lisa, members of the revolution.
Must be really them, right?
It must be them. Let's click on that photo of them.
Wait, there's a photo of them.
Yeah. Okay, well that makes a hell of a lot of... Unless it's just... unless we haven't like picked it up that maybe Kevin McAllister hosted...
I mean, I actually don't know what Wendy and Lisa would look like these days.
I wouldn't know. I didn't even know they existed.
But why would they call themselves that?
Yeah, and the revolution thing.
Unless they're being facetious and it's just two women who are big fans of Prince.
No, could be that. What do you think of that bedroom?
I mean, it's very cool.
I'm telling you right now. I'll tell you for $1 million. Prince's bedroom never looked like a normal bedroom.
Oh, I'm sure not.
Prince's bedroom did not look like something.
I doubt this is what his real bedroom looked like, but it does look like... It's pretty cool and funky.
So to describe it, it's quite a large bedroom. You've got a double bed in the middle. Above it, you've got like a graffiti of two eyes. They look like Vanity's eyes. I just want to think of Vanity.
Yes.
It looks like it's in a basement because there's the basement windows above. It's got like shelves across the roof. Well, across high above the ceiling.
Very sensual lighting.
Lots of purple lighting. So there's like purple strip lighting on the desk, the chest of drawers. There's a guitar in the corner, Prince's guitar. So recreational Prince's cymbal guitar. But Prince's bedroom did not look like that.
How do you know?
You can sleep like the kid himself. I don't know. Was Prince called the Kid?
Don't know.
You could get a look into Prince's world. Enjoy a private tour of the Purple Rain house filled with Prince's keepsakes. For the first time ever, celebrate the life and music of our friend and the Revolution's legendary frontman, Prince. So this is definitely Wendy and Lisa. By staying at the actual Purple Rain house from the film. It's from the... You see, because they don't have a lot of photos on this one.
Yeah, there's like one pic. Okay.
Yeah, but this one's not open yet. Oh, so it's from the film.
Wendy and Lisa have fallen on hard times?
Oh, and they're cashing in. They're cashing in.
Wouldn't you?
I mean, surely they're getting royalties. I mean, if Prince is giving songs to Susanna Hoff, I mean, surely he's leaving songs behind for the revolution.
I don't know.
Okay, so that makes more sense. If you go back the movie Purple Rain, this is obviously where Prince's character stayed. It's obviously a recreation of it.
I need to watch it again.
It's obviously a recreation. Okay, that makes a hell of a lot more sense. So that's Airbnbs if you want to have a little bit of an 80s mix, 80s tour. We're doing an 80s tour, you and I? Tour across the states.
That would be fun.
Take the show on the road.
So you are going to stay in an 80s themed Airbnb the night you go watch Thomas Anders. Is there such a thing in this country?
Ooh, it depends.
If there isn't, why are we not opening it?
Look, depends how far in Pretoria you go into. You will stay in an 80s themed place.
I was recently in Pretoria. It's not that far. You can drive home.
No, you see, but
because you're going to drink.
And not get trashed, but I mean, you're
going to drink enough.
You have two toots for Thomas Anders. He and I, maybe we go enjoy a schnapps.
Oh,
schnapps.
Yes.
We have a schnapps, he and I.
Yes, then you don't want to be getting on the road.
I don't want to be like...
There's so many cops out there
exactly,
as well.
You know what I mean? Like last time I went to a concert at the venue, I met Dr. Alban.
Yes.
He did my teeth. The dentist. So Thomas and I were going to have some schnapps and some speises. And then I have to drive. I'm going to be high on speises. Right? So you got to be... And like I say, you'll definitely play... If you look hard enough, you'll definitely stay in an 80s themed place in Pretoria.
It just happens to
not have
Pretoria.
changed since the 80s, yes.
Have you not yet stalked to find out where Thomas is staying so that you can get the adjoining room?
Dori, we'll save that for a later podcast. When we go into our true crime, that 80 show presents true crime, serial style, where you're going to be phoning me in jail. Will you accept this collect call from Paulo? And then we do a serial style thing where I've stalked Thomas Anders and hit him. and now I'm in jail and I have to. So that's where we're going.
Right.
Okay. Hashtag podcast a joke. Dori,
Yes.
I wish you could read what I've titled this next section.
Oh,
Reader's Digest has died. Shutting down.
really?
They're shutting down the Reader's Digest.
Hang on. Is it online or are we talking about the books? Are the books still a thing?
Reader's Digest, you'll probably remember this. If you, I thought Reader's Digest was from the 80s. It's actually a hell of a lot older than that, from 1922. But if you ever went to a doctor's waiting room in the 80s, 1,000% guaranteed the little teeny Reader's Digest was there for you to thumb
And
through.
there was always so much to actually read in it.
My God,
Actually.
so much. My mom subscribed.
Okay.
So I'm as smart as I am thanks to Reader's Digest. Reader's Digest and Mad Magazine. That was my reading as a kid. Personality as well.
Yes.
You Magazine as well. So yeah, Reader's Digest, after 80 years, they're shutting it down. But it was like, it hit its peak in the 80s. I'm saying.
It's actually a bit sad.
It is sad and they're not going
But
online.
has it been a printed thing up till now?
Been a printed thing up till now. They just
And people are just saying,
can't. They
no,
just,
Waz, it's a new generation. They're not going to appreciate it like we did.
but it's so sad because like Mad Magazine shut down,
Yeah.
gone, right? Reader's Digest.
Dude, I'm sure Number One magazine shut down many years ago.
You know
I
what?
haven't checked, but it was my childhood and
Yeah.
I let it go.
So much of Reader's Digest, but you know what? They had a good run. I loved the Reader's Digest, but what I was kind of like looking into the story. I said, very sad. They're closing down Reader's Digest, a staple of us kids, especially me in the 80s. But they did try to stay hip. They always try to stay current, okay? Because in the 80s, they released an album.
A musical album?
And I'm 100% convinced my mother had this. I am so convinced she had this on vinyl, or at least because I've seen this before. Reader's Digest, great original hits of the 80s. They released an album. 6-disc release.
Wait, okay. Hold on. How many songs on each disc?
That's what I'm saying. Greatest hits, all the hits of the 80s.
Hey, you know that's not true.
Okay, so there looks like on each disc 16, 18 or so songs.
Huh, like and now that's what I call music.
All of them. Do that to me one more time.
Uh.
You've lost that loving feeling. So not all 80s. Jesse's Girl, 9 to 5, Morning Train, Angel of the Morning, Betty
It's all
Davis
very
Eyes.
like MOR, hey?
Very, like, it's exactly
Very relaxed,
like
listening
Reader's
for
Digest.
older people,
why listen.
perhaps.
Right.
There's no like,
Comma Chameleons on there.
oh, well,
You know,
still a bit
A little
chilled.
bit, but halfway through.
But there's no
disc
like
three.
Def Leppard or...
No, Putting on the Ritz is there.
Okay.
99 Luftballons.
Oh, that's kind of
You know,
funky.
but it's a song about war.
Yeah.
So a lot of people go, shit, I lived through that. Now,
Yes.
I saw those 99 Luftballonen and now I saw them floating by. We're not going to take it.
Oh,
Yeah, so-
actually,
Yeah, so you can get,
actually,
you know, and the original Twisted Sister. So this is not like the panpipe version. Because you know you definitely do 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 do.
I want that as my ringtone. Or as my hold. I don't have hold music. I want that as my ringtone.
Let's go back to the 80s. And we're sitting in a dentist's office reading the Reader's Digest, and the secretary or the receptionist goes, just received it in the mail. My 6-disc. And we put on my favorite song of Reader's Digest presents Glam Rock Panpipe. Doo, 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 doo. This is fantastic. Doo, 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 doo. So, but that is probably the most pumped up song. Because the rest of it, like you say, looks very...
So hang on. Did you have to buy this, or did it come free with the subscription?
It must have.
Must have been a subscription,
must have been a thing.
incentive, right?
Take a subscription for a year, get 6 discs of all the music
would have
up
been worth
until
it.
now. I think so.
Was it not on vinyl, only CD?
CD. Well, this is what I found. Gloria is on here. So a couple of, so 6-disc CD. I have seen this before. This definitely existed in my world.
Okay.
This is definitely, my mom got conned into it, took the subscription, got the music.
I mean, is it a con though, or did she win?
No, yeah, she won.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never lose in those things. You never lose, of course. Those discs are always worth what you pay for them. So Reader's Digest will always have Twisted Sister panpipe version. Dori, I want to hear about your movie of the week.
Well, not so much a movie.
Ooh, okay, not so much a movie, and Dori's right, because what we do on that 80s show, we go back to the 80s or stay now or whatever, and we recommend a multimedia offering.
Yes.
About something 80s related, adjacent, linked, or just what we've watched and try to find it.
Or ingested and
Correct.
what we've absorbed.
Correct.
Paulo, I discovered through a podcast that I listened to recently a real life thing that happened in the 80s that I had no idea existed. And it is fascinating. Are you familiar with the Post Secret blog, by the way?
No.
Okay, so this is something that's from the 2000s, started in the early 2000s. There's a guy named Frank Warren, and he started this blog called Post Secret, where he put out flyers all around where he lived in America saying, send your secret on a postcard to this address, and he said, be as creative as you want.
Wow.
And he has received millions and millions of postcards over the years, and he has a blog which he updates with fresh secrets every week. I love Post Secret. I've been following it from the start.
Okay.
And I think it's an amazing concept. But I have recently discovered that something even better, yet similar, existed in the 1980s.
Okay.
Okay. The podcast is called Criminal. You're about to find out why.
Okay.
And it's cool stories and stuff like that. But this episode is called Mr. Apology. I'm going to read you. First, I'm going to actually show you quickly the image, because the website does these cool artistic like renderings for each episode.
So in particular, Dori's showing me one that looks like a missing something.
Like a flyer that you would have seen.
A flyer that you
it's got
pull
those
off the
little
numbers.
tags that you pull the number off,
yeah,
right?
we've all seen them, yeah.
So this was posted around New York City in 1980.
Okay.
And it says, attention, amateurs, professionals, criminals, blue collar, white collar. You have wronged people. It is to people that you must apologize, not to the state, not to God. Call apology, and then there's a number. So I'll read you the description of the podcast. In 1980, posters appeared in subway stations and on telephone poles in New York City with a phone number to call. When you called it, you would hear a message. This is apology. Apology is not associated with the police or any other organization, but rather is a way for you to tell people what you have done wrong and how you feel about it. So what this was a guy who was actually an artist, and he did this as an art project. He was one of the first people in America to get an answering machine. 1980, not everyone had answering machines yet. He got an answering machine, and he decided to make it into an art project and put these flyers out and get people to confess their secrets, basically, or their confessions on this phone line. An early version of Post Secret, if you will, but an audio version.
Right.
What a fascinating story. I mean, first of all, let's talk about the answering machine.
I'm so glad you circling back on that one.
Yes, because this is a very specific 1980s thing.
And a very specifically American thing, because in South Africa, I don't know anybody who had an answering machine.
I knew one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, what a concept. Like, where are you? Why aren't you, where could you be in South Africa that you have to leave a message?
Crazy.
You know?
Absolutely crazy. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, answering machines are ubiquitous in 80s movies. They're often part of the actual plot.
So a missed message.
Yeah.
A message left too long, a message cut off, the wrong number.
Often there's that dramatic scene where somebody comes home late at night and the light is blinking on the answering machine, but they don't listen, and something dramatic happens because they've missed the message. You know?
I mean, how many 80s movies would not have existed without the answering machine?
Yeah.
I can't, 7 maybe. I'm sure.
So this episode
it was pretty much a whole season. You could go back to back. A whole season of Three's Company was about miscreant answering machine messages.
Exactly. So this interview was done with the wife of the widow of the man who set up this service. He's no longer with us, and she basically tells the story of how it went. And at first it was, it starts slowly. But she said literally the day he put the things up, they got like 100 messages already. Like it started immediately.
Wow.
And they played some of these messages on the podcast. Obviously, she's got the tape still. And they're arranging from all sorts of things. The one was a runaway teenage girl, a 15-year-old girl who called from a payphone.
Huge in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, where are you going to call from? Because he makes the point apparently on the message, like, you must know, this is confidential. We're not going to share it with the police, but we are going to make these calls public. So don't identify yourself. Rather call from a payphone if you don't want to be tracked, just in case. We're not going to track you, but just be anonymous, basically. So she calls from a payphone and she talks about how she really regrets running away and she's very lonely and how hard it is. But obviously, they couldn't do anything. They were literally just the people listening to this.
Right.
And he got hundreds and hundreds of messages. And some people were saying that they'd killed people. He wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And then there was eventually one guy who kept calling and talking about all the people he had killed.
Right.
And how he was luring these men to his apartment and killing them.
Okay.
And so the guy, his name was Alan, the guy who started the answering machine. He started feeling really guilty. But he had promised that he wouldn't go to the police. So what he did very cleverly, he had said, these messages will be public. So what he did was he actually got asked to do an interview on NPR, which is public radio in America, about this because it's somehow, I don't know how I never heard about this before, because apparently it actually made really big news in the early 80s. And so he said, I'll play the message on NPR. Then, of course, the police will hear it.
Sure.
And then they can see if they're going to do something about it. And at one point, another guy called and was also talking about being a serial killer and gave quite a lot of info about himself, to the point where the police managed to track him down, surveilled him, and said, nah, he's a totally normal guy. Totally normal guy. He's not doing anything wrong. So he was making it up.
It's kind of like what, as you keep talking about this, I kind of like keep looking at the parallels of Twitter/X. Like, what platform did you have if you're looking for attention back then?
But this is exactly the point she makes in the interviews, that back then there was nowhere to do this. They built a little community. So what happened eventually, at first it was just everybody leave your message, and then only him and his wife would have the messages, although they did manage to do an art exhibition at one point, and they managed to, people could go to an art gallery and listen to the messages. He actually apparently got like proper payphones installed in the art gallery, took out the mechanism, but if you picked up the phone, you would hear the messages on a loop.
That's really cool.
Which is so cool.
Yeah.
Which apparently, my husband tells me, was actually in some sci-fi movie from the 1970s. So he thinks he got the idea from there. Which I haven't seen the movie, but I will. But then what happened was, in about 1983 or 84, the technology of answering machines improved, where you could leave a much longer answering message for when people called. So what he started doing was putting other people's messages on, and then people would call in and respond to those messages, and then he would put the responses on. So every week he changed it, and he built a little community of these people. You know,
you're talking very borderline WhatsApp voice notes here. I mean, it's starting to irritate me.
No, but like, how amazing! Think of this, early 80s.
Yeah.
This is
That's
long before social media.
Yeah.
Where you could
long
build
before podcasts.
This anonymous little community.
Yeah.
It's a really, really fascinating story. I recommend listening to the podcast.
Name again?
So the podcast is called Criminal.
Yeah.
The episode is called Mr. Apology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Details.
And what happened was these people only eventually met each other at his memorial. He did die with that's explained in the podcast. And what happened was his widow put a message on the machine saying, here's what's happened. We're doing a memorial at this time in Central Park. Come along. And all these people who had left messages over the years went along and met each other. That happened in the 90s.
I mean, if you're a cop suspecting people, you're just waiting in the bushes there.
I mean,
invariably one of these.
No, most of the confessions were relatively harmless. Most of them were harmless.
That one Twitter profile, Fesshole.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's lots. That's what I'm saying. Now there's lots of this idea. Like Post Secret is my favorite, but back then it was completely unique. Oh, and the one thing I also liked was one of the guys used to call him was a 15-year-old kid.
Okay.
And he would he would babysit. That was like what he did. I always assumed it was teenage girls who babysit,
Right,
but he used to babysit. And he said he would like put the kids to bed, and then he would get on the phone and call the thing. And he would and the interview even said, did you have a long cord and did you stretch it and did you go to another room away and he said, yeah, he used to do that.
So it's crazy because I mean there are very specific 80s confessions in there. Like I would have said, you know what? I was a dick and I didn't rewind. So to hell with you. You know, I'd like to know what
they
other
absolutely were confessions of the time.
Yeah, very specific. It's like
the one that sticks out for me was this guy messaged and he said he wanted to. Well, it's not confessions, it's apologies. So he said, I want to apologize to the janitor and cleaning staff of this bank and he gave the address in New York. And I mean, I don't know how it works in America that you can somehow use your bank card to access after hours like an ATM type area that is sealed off from the street.
Right.
And he said, I was walking and I really, really, really needed to pee. And it's not safe to go use a public restroom in New York City. So I used my bank card. I went into the bank thing and I peed in the bin. And I'm really, really, really sorry. I just had to go and I was scared to go to a public bathroom. And that's the kind of stuff that people were doing. And he was just like, I'm really sorry to the people who had to clean it up.
Well, good for him for apologizing.
Yes.
You know, some may say, what are you doing on the street? If you're afraid to be on the street.
Well, you know, maybe he was walking home from work.
Listen.
We don't judge.
I can't judge. I have peed in many a receptacle, so and not apologized for it.
I'm sure.
So good to that guy.
Yeah.
So that is Mr. Apology.
Mr. Apology, the episode of Criminal, which tells a true story from the 80s that I never knew about. And it's fascinating. And why is there no movie about it?
Because there are movies about pretty much everything. Even
That's
a movie.
A segue into your movie?
Dori, this movie, and I had never heard of it. Okay.
Wow.
It was then cousin Louis, contributor, great fan of the show, listening right now, probably on a forklift. He sent it to me.
Okay.
I was like, what is this? Then suddenly I start seeing this movie pop up everywhere, like on all like 80s nostalgia feeds. And it wasn't an anniversary or one of the main actors died or something. It's like I've never seen this movie, so I watched it. You know I love bizarre movies.
Yes.
I'm going to read the cast list to you. Dennis Quaid.
Nice.
Shelley Long, her first movie.
Okay.
Very young, very pretty in this movie.
Yeah.
Ringo Starr.
Okay.
Okay, now, Ringo Starr, the Beatle Ringo Starr, the drummer?
I mean, how many people have that name?
Yes, the drummer Ringo Starr. The movie from 1981 is called Caveman.
Never heard of it.
Right? So it is about a caveman.
Played by Dennis Quaid.
They're all cavemans.
Oh.
They're all cave people, right?
Okay. Including Shelley Long?
Everyone's cave people. Okay. So everyone is
So the movie isn't set in the 80s then?
No, it is set in the year 1 zillion BC.
Okay.
In particular...
Was this a total flop, this movie?
Oh, let me get into this. So the movie actually is set in 1 billion BC on October 9th, which is actually the date that John Lennon was born. And that's very intentional. So Ringo Starr wanted to set up as like a commemoration. So that date was very specific. It was John Lennon's birthday.
Okay.
Ringo Starr plays this kind of like downtrodden, you're with a bunch of cavemen, right? And Ringo Starr plays this kind of downtrodden runt of the litter in this caveman tribe, okay? And there is like the different alpha male caveman, and Ringo Starr is in love with the alpha male caveman's girlfriend and hates the alpha male caveman, gets kicked out of the tribe, and he goes off on his own adventures now. So on his own adventures, he starts meeting other people. So the first people he meets is Shelley Long and her dad. So now he joins on the tribe with them.
Okay.
Then
where is it set? We don't know. I mean, because like...
Well, where was anything?
I mean, everything was one continent, I suppose.
Krugersdorp, for all we know. That's Cradle of Mankind.
That's
I mean,
what I'm
it
thinking,
could have been there, right? Let's say that's where we all came from. So
supposedly.
they're... So he goes, Shelley Long. And then where Dennis Quaid comes in. Dennis Quaid was also part of the tribe. He gets injured because of something Ringo Starr's character did because they get attacked by dinosaurs. So Dennis Quaid's character gets injured.
Hang on. The dinosaurs and people did not live at the same time.
Dori, it is set in 1 zillion BC.
Okay, maybe I don't know. I wasn't there.
No, that's like, you know what?
I'm looking at the poster. I had to Google it. I'm looking at the poster.
And of course it is, as you expect, designed for you to take off the video shelf. The classic 1980s comic style impression, cartoonist type.
This looks very 80s.
Movie poster, right?
Back when you had to beat it before you could eat it.
Hey?
That's a payoff line.
That is a payoff line. This is the movie we're going into, right? Okay, so Dennis Quaid, they think they leave him for dead. On his travels, Ringo Starr finds Dennis Quaid again. Okay, so now he joins his tribe. More along the way, they meet. Now, obviously, all the cavemen are white cavemen. But then they meet a diverse group of cavemen.
Okay.
That includes a gay couple caveman, a black caveman, an Asian caveman, and a little person caveman. So now it's got the diversity cavemen, right? So there's a bit of a joke then.
Yeah, but that's like way ahead of its time for 1981.
1981. And on their adventures, of course, the cavemen, what do they do? First thing is, when Ringo Starr and Dennis Quaid are reunited, they hug each other so hard, they stretch their back out. Now they're walking upright. Okay, they discover fire. They're arguing over a chicken. They discover cooking your food.
Sounds like a really satirical movie. Like a almost Naked Gun type.
It's completely spoofed, take upon that whole, even the stop motion of all the dinosaurs. I mean, there's one battle scene where it's very evidently a plasticine model of Ringo Starr's character on
You have sold me this movie big time.
It is fantastic.
Where do I see this movie?
Oh, Dori, it's on YouTube. The whole thing's on YouTube. This is the best part about it.
I knew you were going to say that somehow.
The whole thing. But you know what? Here's the best thing.
Is it a good quality YouTube at least?
Very good quality. It's been remastered.
Okay.
They don't speak a word of English. There is one word of English, but there's a whole language.
Oh my God. How do you figure out what they're saying?
You do eventually over time figure out because there's very few words. Okay?
Okay.
So their words.
Like acting out. Ooh, beating their chests.
You can pretty much get it. What you're definitely left with understanding is that zug zug means to have sex. Okay? You get that very quickly.
Sounds legit.
But it's actually quite fun trying to figure out what the cavemen are saying.
Okay.
And on Wikipedia, all the sites, you can find the actual, like there's, about 20 words? Not even.
So someone has like done the translations and helped us out?
When Shelley Long auditioned, she wasn't given a script. They said, you just got to grunt. Now imagine a young Shelley Long, the career she goes on to have, walks in and they go, grunt for us. You go, okay, Harvey Weinstein, I really want to get into movies, but if this is, the grunt.
And you had to wear very little loincloths, I imagine.
Oh, listen, she was in tiny loincloths. All the women are in tiny loincloths.
Yeah.
There's a lot of flesh.
Who's the director of this movie?
The director of this movie is Carl Gottlieb. I don't know directors.
I know the name.
You might know. Carl Gottlieb is notable works Jaws. He did, he co-wrote the first Jaws.
Okay.
But his terms as a director, Jaws, and not much else actually that you would know about. Which Way Is Up, Jaws 2, The Jerk.
The Jerk?
As a writer, but as a director, The Absent-Minded Waiter, Caveman, and Amazon Woman of the Moon. So we can kind of see the genre.
Woman of the Moon.
He was in, I might be watching that.
Right.
So the movie is ridiculous.
Yeah, it sounds brilliant for like a real, where you just want to like have a mindless night off.
Siskel and Ebert loved it.
Really?
They were like, you know what? You're going to watch worse movies than this. It's fun. It's silly. Ringo Starr is charismatic as shit.
I think Ringo took all the drugs. I mean, between Yellow Submarine and this, let's be honest. Who took all the drugs?
I think he was very definitely the one who said, guys, we should try this.
Yeah, that mushroom looks tasty.
Yeah. Let me, if I try it and don't die, then you guys all try it. Yeah. Okay? Because, this is definitely, but listen, it's a great movie. He's the only surviving Beatle. No, him and Paul McCartney. What am I talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What am I talking about? Let me go back and delete that. Right, delete. Thank you. Okay, but that's a movie.
The least famous surviving Beatle. But now, after this,
I love Ringo Starr.
I know.
He's my favorite Beatle.
He's funny.
He's got I always like a drummer. I don't know what it is. I like drummers. I like drummers. So that is my movie, Caveman.
Caveman. I'm intrigued and I'm impressed. Wow, our stuff is very different this week.
Oh, it's diverse.
Could not be more different.
That's what you get on that 80s show.
Yeah.
That's what you get on that 80 show. So another movie, and of course everything, links, trailers, everything. That 80 show SA Facebook. You know,
Facebook for the old people, because we're old.
Facebook for the old people.
Yes,
Go
unless
there.
unless your parents raised you right and you're young.
Hey, it looks like it's happening. We've been following the story of Richard Simmons and Paulie Shaw for a while. So if you don't know, you haven't heard, Paulie Shaw claims, or Paulie Shaw wants to play Richard Simmons, the fitness guru from the 80s. He wants to play him in a movie, right? Even down to the point where he made a trailer or like a short film proof of concept for it. It's terrible. It's not good. That is not convincing anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. And the only thing really is Paulie Shaw kind of looks like Richard Simmons.
Yes.
Because like we've been debating, like maybe this is his Ali moment, you know, where you're kind of a comedic actor, but you take this really serious character and people go, wow, you're a real thespian. You're an artist.
Yeah.
No, you're just Paulie Shaw.
Yes.
Right? That's kind of it. And Richard Simmons says, I have not approved this. I do not want to make it a biopic. And he's kind of been living a reclusive existence, right?
For a while now, yes.
For a while. He's nobody really knows why. He was recently diagnosed with skin cancer. But he's popped up again with 2 messages. So on the 26th of April, on Twitter, he says, wow, I just got my 4th offer from studios who want to work with me on my biopic. I have so many ideas swimming in my head. I'm writing the outline now. Wish me luck. Love, Richard. What a slap in the face for Paulie Shaw. Because he said, I don't want to do a biopic.
Yeah.
Very evident, I don't want to do a biopic with you.
Yes, I think that's what he's saying.
Okay. And then he, last week, where are we now? 6th of May. Yesterday, this week, he posts another message, an audio message for his fans, of which I think were them.
We're part of them for sure.
This is definitely aimed at us and you. If you listen, take a listen to his message. Do we know how much Richard Simmons loves you? Now we know.
Something makes me feel like that's AI. Like something makes me feel like that's not real.
No.
I'd like to believe it's real. It sounds like him. It sounds like something he would say. But I'm suspicious these days, eh? Especially because he's been so reclusive and so quiet. And then that's a bit of an odd message to break your silence with.
You know what I suspect's happening here?
Yeah.
Is kind of like the reflection of life. Maybe this diagnosis is like really bad.
He's just like
and he's
wanting
kind
to
of
be part of the world.
I want to tell my story. I want to leave my legacy behind. I don't want people leave behind. People think I'm a weirdo. Maybe this cancer diagnosis is the wake up. He goes, you know what? I don't want to. I want
Just
people to know my
fade
story.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want Paulie. If I don't take control of it, Paulie Shaw is going to be doing it.
I wonder who would get cast above Paulie Shaw.
Cast Paulie Shaw, but not as Richard Simmons. Get him in the movie.
Oh my God.
You
That's
know?
terrible.
Paulie Shaw, you know, I think
Or
Paulie
just
Shaw
cast him, but produce it yourself and get someone else to direct.
and gets the AI Paulie Shaw.
No. There probably is someone else out there who looks like Richard Simmons.
Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling can do anything these days.
Okay.
Ryan Gosling is
Put a curly wig on him.
yeah.
Let him put on some weight. Teach him some. He actually already knows how to
He
dance.
knows all the dances.
He already knows how to
Yeah.
dance.
So that's the latest.
I think you're right. I think Ryan Gosling can do anything.
We're obsessed with Richard Simmons. So we really want this to happen.
I wonder why there hasn't been an update on that Finding Richard Simmons podcast since he's now like speaking to the world.
Well, they found him.
But
I mean, that's kind of like, you're not going to go
Still.
change the artwork to found Richard Simmons
I'm going to actually check. Maybe there's an update to say, look, he's communicated.
from the nether. Not from the
Because
nether.
that whole podcast had a theory that maybe he had died, that he wasn't even around anymore.
Well, it goes to show you podcasts are stupid.
Oh.
So to
Wow.
end off this week's show, what a fantastic show. Everything on the show is That 80 Show SA Facebook page. For the past few weeks, we have milked this cow. It is a thin little cow with no milk in it because we have milked it to death. We found a quiz, pastfactory.com. Guess the 80s song from the first line. Okay?
Right.
We have got one wrong, Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah. Damn
So-
you, Ozzy.
We can give ourselves an Ozzy pass. But basically, you get the first line of a song.
Yeah.
And you got to guess what it is. They give you clues because they show you the band and all the
As long
songs
as you
are
know what the
from-
band looks like, you've got a clue.
Then you got it into their 4 songs, and then it's just a matter of deduction.
Right.
Right. So this one, Dori, it is Run DMC.
Oh, this is more you than me.
Okay, so I'm going to take a punt at it because it's not. So obviously we know their song It's Tricky and Walk This Way.
Right.
Okay. Those are the big songs. But It's Tricky, Walk This Way, King of Rock, or My Adidas. Those are the 4 songs. Now there's a Backseat Lover.
Oh, I have no idea. I have no. I mean, I barely know Walk This Way. That's pretty much. I mean, I
Aerosmith.
think I know.
The crossover.
I think I know it's tricky.
That was the
This
first
is
crossover.
so your department.
Oh, but I
Are
don't.
we gonna get another one wrong?
And I'm so disappointed to get one wrong on Run DMC.
That would be embarrassing.
I'm going to think they trick because It's Tricky. So the
Do
speech
you
is
think it's Walk This Way?
because It's Tricky. The speech is my recital.
Okay.
Okay. Walk This Way is. It could be because Now There's a Backseat Lover sounds very Aerosmithy.
I don't remember the song how it starts. I mean, I know the chorus. That's about it. Why would they choose an obscure song? It has to be the most well-known song.
Of which,
right?
because I don't think, because if you're a rapper, what rhymes with a lover,
Glover.
right? So I'm going to take a punt on Now There's a Backseat Lover, Walk This Way. Correct. See, deduction.
Oh, that was scientific.
Deduction.
Yes.
You can't rhyme with lover. Deduction. Okay. Next. Ooh. You got this one. I'm going to give you this one, Dori. It's very
Okay.
easy. Poor old Johnny Ray.
Ah, Dexys. Come on, Eileen.
Yes.
What were the options? Because they pretty much a two-hit wonder.
The Celtic Soul Brothers, Jackie Wilson Said,
That's the other hit.
Come On Eileen, and Gino. Never heard of Gino. Never heard of
No,
that.
Jackie Wilson and Come On Eileen are pretty much their most well-known songs.
So Come On Eileen.
Yeah.
2 out of our 5 for today, correct. Next one is, I don't recognize the band.
Okay. Do you want me to have a
The
look?
song options are 7 Seas. Oh, okay, here we go. 7 Seas, The Killing Moon, Rescue, Lips Like Sugar.
Okay, so it's
Okay, Echo and the Bunnymen.
yes.
Under Blue Moon, I Saw You.
Oh, come on.
We didn't say this is a hard quiz. We said this is a long quiz.
And we were teasing how easy it was, and then we got one wrong.
So listeners, we'll give you this guess because we got it. Under Blue Moon, I Saw You. It's from Echo and the Bunnymen. The options are 7 Seas, The Killing Moon, Rescue, or Lips Like Sugar. And Dori, it is?
The Killing Moon.
The Killing
From my
Moon.
favorite movie.
Indeed, Donnie Darko. Right. Ooh, this next one, rock. Ooh, there's another rock one.
Okay.
I do not recognize this band.
Oh, dear.
They are very rockish. The line is Trapped in Purgatory. The songs are Angel of Death, War Ensemble, Bloodline, or Raining Blood.
Oh, my God.
This looks like Megadeth. Is that Megadeth?
I mean, I don't know.
We got it.
Possibly.
We got to give ourselves the rock pass. We weren't allowed to listen to rock in the 80s.
I'll feel like such a failure.
Yes.
I really used to like that kind of music, but I don't know that. And the songs, some of them maybe sound familiar. This is going to be a pure guess. We're going to get it wrong.
I'm going Angel of Death. Incorrect. It's Megadeth. It is Megadeth.
Okay. What song
No,
was
sorry,
it?
it's Slayer. That's
Hey,
Slayer.
oh my God,
Slayer.
we are so useless.
Raining Blood. We got to give ourselves the heavy metal pass.
Okay.
We can't be hard on ourselves.
Okay.
We weren't allowed listening to it. And we finished it.
What? That's the last one?
We finished it. That was the last one. It says we got 38 out of 60. I call bullshit.
That's because you were speeding through it every time and just choosing any.
Oh, correct.
Yeah, we
Dori,
definitely got
yes.
58
We
out
got,
of 60.
definitely got 58 out of 60.
Yeah, you were just like, because we
Yeah.
had to,
For
go
time, we had
through
to
the
like
one.
get to the point. It wouldn't save.
yeah, it wouldn't save our space. We had to redo it every week.
Very good. Geez, Dori, I wish I had you as a friend in matric.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many ways you could have just like got me
Right.
a pass. So this has been That 80 Show. Once again, everything you heard on the show today, a lot you heard can be found That 80 Show SA on Facebook. I'm over my FOMO MD.
But I'll show you clips and then you'll have it renewed.
Damn it. Mm-hmm. Clips of that lovely beer tent. I believe they ran out of beer.
Oh, I don't drink at these things. So.
You drink all of it. Thanks for joining me, Dori.
Bye.